these two questions in one. First of all, what do you remember about that uppercut? And secondly, a lot of people, kind of in your defence, really have come out and said, "Oh, it was a lucky punch," but you know it's more than just a lucky punch. The punch he landed on you.
I don't think Povetkin was hoping for that result. I think one of the punches that he chose in training is one of the punches that he's been using for years as a sort of like last resort defensive punch. And he threatened to land it, because when he landed it, he was shocked. Like, it's not like he set up the punch and then boom, you know what I mean? When he landed it and I was down, watch the fight back, it's like he looked for like about 2-3 seconds like, oh, I just win. Oh. Yeah, then he put his hands up, but that could be because he was also concussed from the knockdowns earlier as well, you know?
Those are the words from Dillian the Body Snatcher Whyte, as he has an exclusive interview with Kugan Cassius from IFL TV. Shouts out to them. And the question was asked, how did he feel about the uppercut? And he felt that, first of all, Povetkin, that's something that he's always worked on. That's something he was working on in camp, that particular punch. But Dillian Whyte feels, according to this interview, that he was surprised that it landed the way it did. And he said that if you look back, Povetkin looked for a few seconds and then realized what he's done. Then he put his hands up, like out of surprising, like Andre Ward was when he found out he won the decision against Kovalev. That type of thing. It wasn't like that. I didn't see that. Okay. I seen a guy, he was planning on that punch. He was practicing that punch. I believe Dillian Whyte there, but I don't believe that was something that was surprising. He hit Dillian Whyte and looked over as he walked off. It wasn't like he was jumping up and down looking like Andy Ruiz June 1st. That wasn't that type of reaction. It was almost like, oh, there it is. Boom. Done. Good night. Okay, there we go. He ain't getting up. Now let me raise my hand. And I think it was delayed to see if Dillian Whyte was going to get up. He didn't get up. He was knocked out, people. So no, I don't think it was a surprise at all. I didn't think if anything, I think he was rather nonchalant about the knockout. Him getting the knockout over Dillian Whyte. He wasn't that happy. He wasn't, like I said, it wasn't anything that was spectacular or a big surprise or a big spectacle or anything like that. It was him simply doing something he'd been setting up from the jump. He was leaning, and he was throwing that uppercut to the body. He kept throwing it to the body. He kept throwing it to the body. He kept throwing it to the body. Okay? So eventually, at some point, like that instance, he comes upward, right up the middle to the chin instead of the body. You could see where Dillian Whyte went down to duck it because he thought he was going to once again go to the body. Head, body, head, Mickey. Okay, just like the great Dick Eklund, the trainer and half-brother of Mickey Ward. Head, body, head. That's exactly what Povetkin did to Dillian Whyte. Bar none. Let's continue.
Why just go to show dangerous the guy? The guy was fighting when he was in bits, you know?
But what I'm saying to you, it's a bit of a discredit to Povetkin for people just to label that punch as a lucky punch.
No. It's a good punch, you know what I mean? It's a punch that he practices, a punch that he's used his whole career. It's a good punch, and he set it up good, and he landed the punch good, you know, obviously. He set it up good, and he landed. I went for the hook, and he went for the uppercut, and he, obviously he's a short fighter with the short arms inside. You know, it worked out better for him.
I'm glad that Dillian Whyte made no excuses for it. I'm glad he didn't just supposedly call it a lucky punch like a lot of people said, like a lot of people have done in the past. He took ownership for it. He gave it props when props was due, and that's exactly what he did. It was a good shot. It was a well-placed shot again, and I'm glad Dillian Whyte didn't feed into all the other people's other possible excuses for himself. Let's continue.
So, I mean, immediately after, we weren't sure, after the fight, we obviously learnt that there was a rematch clause on your side. So, I suppose your conversations with Eddie Hearn over the last week or so is just pinning down the date. You know, by the looks of it, Povetkin and his team are up for taking this straight away, so...
The conversation is, let's go, round 2. Same attitude, same maximum violence, same everything. Let's go, Eddie, let's get it on. Same. Nothing's changed. I ain't been like, I want a warm-up fight. No, let's go. Let's do this. No, let's go. It's a minor blip. It's a dangerous fight. But I'm ready. I'm ready. I am ready. I'm ready to go again. I come out that ring last Saturday, literally feeling ready to go again straight away, you know?
The way you've handled this over the last week, I think everyone's appreciated that you've come out and said absolutely made no excuses about what happened. We all saw what happened, and we knew you were winning that fight. But I think, well, I don't know if you can answer this question or not. Has your changes in camp had anything to do with what happened Saturday night or not?
No, not at all, Rob. Listen, I was boxing good. Everyone keeps saying it's the best they've seen me box. I was boxing good. The change was good. Everything was good. The game plan was good. We started off good early. We was doing our thing. You know, like I said, it's my fault. It's nothing to do with the camp. It's nothing to do with no one. It's just my fault. I made an amateur mistake. You know, there's things that Povetkin was doing that I should have cut on early. Like, every time I hurt him, he would touch glove. Like, we were fighting, he would touch glove. We were fighting, he would keep touching glove, keep touching glove. That was psychologically distracting me from what I was doing without knowing. But that's the thing. He's got age and experience over me. So little things he's doing, like when I'm out a little attack and a little review. But me, and they're thinking, you know what, let me be a sportsman. Like, I don't just keep up this animal behavior and try and just act cool. You know what I mean? But it's all right. It's all right. In the rematch, it's cool. That's a great thing. Immediate rematches, that's good because, you know, it's good. Now I know, you know, obviously he used experience against me and other things. What's he going to use this time?
Now, also, moving forward, the training camp, and I know came up to, you know, Mark Tibbs. You know, a lot of times people ask, you know, what Mark Tibbs was it a factor that Dillian Whyte changed his camp? Did that have a huge play in his knockout defeat? And he shut that down. Absolutely not. It was a good change. He was boxing very well. There was nothing that had anything to do with his camp. So he's shutting that down. Okay? So I like that because I feel bad for Dillian Whyte, but I also feel bad for everybody on down that totem pole because everybody down that totem pole, including Xavier Miller, is that guy that's going to be looked at and examined now because of what happened in the 5th round of their bout. Okay, so I'm glad that he didn't throw him under the bus because a lot of fighters have done that. We ain't gotta say no names, right? So that's actually didn't happen in the past. So I'm glad again how he's handling that, you know, and it shows how he has matured in his boxing career after the first defeat to Anthony Joshua. Let's move on.
You could see every time I touch him, his legs straightened up. You know, when I was jabbing him, he straightened up his legs. When I was hitting him with punches, straightened up his legs. You know, so he's definitely going to be a bit sharper this time. But so am I.
Will you contemplate making any kind of alterations to your team?
No.
Not going to bring in anyone else in? No?
Nothing at all. I didn't see anything wrong with the team and the camp. Everything was good. Everything was good. You know, everything was good in my opinion. Everything was good. It was boxing good. Everything was good. What we worked on was working. So maybe we can miss the big shots early. Shots that usually take people out. I was in good shape. He landed to the body 3 times. They didn't bother me at all. I didn't even feel any of them. I was surprised. You know what? To the point, I was so surprised that I was saying to myself, bro, when is like, you know, I was expecting a lot more than what was there. Put it that way.
So, Dillian Whyte, as he explained, he was expecting more from Povetkin. And, you know, in spots, I can see what he was talking about because Povetkin, in that fight, he was fighting in spots. He wasn't fighting as a guy that was going in there like Mike Tyson or going in there with a mentality of staying in this guy, working the body to this guy, becoming overly aggressive. He wasn't doing any of that. Maybe you can chop that up to age. Maybe he just didn't have the energy to do that. We just saw Erislandy Lara, and he wasn't in that as active as he used to be, but he still got the job done. So I think that an age factor might have played into that on why he was fighting in spots where Dillian Whyte was trying to fight and see what this guy can do. He was taking time off, you know, and for the first, 20 seconds, nothing really happened with Povetkin. Povetkin was kind of sizing him all up to see where he was going, you know, but that's all experience, you know, so he was picking and choosing spots when to fight. As Dillian Whyte told us, the body punches was hurting him, okay? Just like I was saying, the left uppercut, he was also throwing it. He was also throwing the right. He was throwing the right to the body also. Then he would loop upstairs with the right hand, which is a very sneaky attack from Povetkin. But the body punches, I do agree with Dillian Whyte, and I could tell they were hurting him because that's what made him dip under, right, and receive a left uppercut because he thought he was throwing a left uppercut to the body, okay? If you watching in slow-mo, you'll see Dillian Whyte tuck, okay? When you do that tuck, you're putting your shoulder blades down and your elbows to protect that punch from landing, okay? You're trying to protect that liver, okay? He didn't want to get hit in that liver because he got hit in that liver throughout that fight. There were subtle liver shots that when he got on the inside, he just threw it down there, okay? Well, this time he came up the middle and took him out. Okay, so this is volume 1 of this. I will continue on the next video concerning Dillian Whyte because it's far from over. You guys tell me what you think about this first volume. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.